In our new Truth or Dare episode, Christian talks about cultural differences, speaks French with a German accent, and shares how businesses can expand globally. Christian is a goal-driven trilingual business development entrepreneur with more than 20 years experience.
Hi, I'm very pleased to be here. Thanks a lot for the invitation.
Yeah, we're very happy to see you. As I said before to you in private, we are experimenting with our format. And now we would like to play with you a game called Truth or Dare.
Oh,
so, yeah. So truth questions are a bit of tricky questions. Okay, there are some maybe general questions about business development, but there are definitely some tricky questions where we would like to hear your business expertise, some of your challenges and achievements. And there are other questions which would require from your side some type of actions. If you can't make this action now, you can honestly record us, take a picture of how you did it, and we'll just submit it to our video.
Okay, fair enough. Let's start.
Great. So I have my truth and dare questions mixed all together. And there are 16 questions. You give me the number and I'll give you the truth or dare question. That's simple.
Let's start by the number 7.
7. That's a good question, by the way, quite easy. What are the strategies to expand globally if you are a small startup, vice versa, already being an established business?
Before going internationally, they have really to make sure that their product market fit in their local market is working fine. Because if you don't have this, it's very hard to duplicate this internationally. But my advice would be take your time. I know startups want to go fast, but take your time and think wisely about what is working best in your local market. Try to check what you could replicate. And then when you test it with I would say with a dedicated company or an ideal target in the country you are targeting, then you can adapt your pitch, and only then, when you have this, you can go on a much more broader scope. And this makes it is taking time to go right after in volumes. This is what we call acceleration, and that's where I'm helping companies to work.
I see. So the strategy is quite similar for startups and for established businesses, that you need to check the market fit. Am I correct? Or there are some still differences in approaches?
You still have to check the market fit, but usually the established business would have to will have much more dedicated processes for that. Each corporate, well, I don't know, when you mean established businesses, you mean no, not especially corporates, you mean also smaller companies, right?
Yeah, I would say the company history 5 years plus, and it's 30 team members. So it's not like a startup when they're just beginning, when there is a business owner plus 5 people around him. And I think more about
that case, for established businesses, I would say effectively, they know their business, they know what is working best. So they have also to select the few solutions that could make the best fit with a new market, with a new market they want to enter. But usually they have effectively more money, also more salespeople, more they can go on a much broader scale than the smaller companies that usually have to test, that cannot really afford to fail or to make mistakes, because it costs a lot of money. So established businesses are usually more adapted to or better fitted to succeed. But that's why I'm here to help the smaller ones. to succeed.
Because there is more need to help.
Yeah, definitely. And they have to, an established business, usually you know what is working right, you know what is not working so right. Startups, they just start, they check what is, they have an idea of what is working, but they have not always experienced all the plus and minus of their strategies and their product on the local market. So they might have more, I would say, challenges.
I agree.
That's the other one.
Great, that is a wonderful answer. I think you covered the main points. What is the next number you could give me through the questions?
Let's say 5.
5. Where is lucrative to expand business internationally next?
No, for me, it depends from people. People could be more acquainted to some markets. Definitely my favorite market is the German one, because I've been spending half of my life already in the German market, and I'm still spending 1 week over 2 in this country. So it's still ongoing, and Austria and Switzerland are very similar. So I'm covering for the moment the 3 markets this is my sweet spot. Mm-hmm. And then of course I can act on other markets, but this is definitely the sweet spot.
What are the opportunities these markets could offer?
Actually, in terms of business, I like the way the culture is a bit different. So this might be sometimes a break, but here it could be also some acceleration. People are more straightforward in this business, in this market. When we have a deal, we have a deal. They are a bit more getting in depth. Mm-hmm. German customers are checking very carefully what we can propose them, and there are a lot of engineers as well, so they like to check how the motor is, how the engine is, how the power of the engine and everything before buying a car, you know. So they like to open the boot and check the cables, the wiring, and how it's to have an idea of how solid and reliable the product is. But when they have the deal, it's really a strong deal, and it's a strong customer. I'm building very, very strong relationship for my customers with German customers. So that's really what I like. This is the solidity.
What about
also the same in France, but it's in France it's people are sometimes saying yes and then yes, but when German say yes, it's yes. When say no, it's no.
Wonderful. What is the next number?
It's 3.
3. What are the risks of entering a new market? What should we consider? Because so many businessmen, they have dreams, and when they have dreams, they sometimes not become really selective, and they don't see some disadvantages they should consider.
Yeah, the strongest risk, or the higher risk, is to believe that we have the best product and that it will sell, or the best solution, that it will sell from itself. Most of the young companies believes in that, and this is a mistake. You might have a strong product, a strong value proposition, but you will always, whatever the value proposition of the product, you will always have to defend it, to explain it, and to take time to market it, and to tailor it as well to the need of your customers. So this is a major risk I see, and usually it's my role is to convince the customers, for my customers, to take time, to think quietly, and to invest. Because I see also a lot of startups saying my product is selling so easily, should be sold or should be sold so easily that I can just share revenue with you when it comes, and it's it's everything takes times. We invest in developing a product. We should also invest in developing sales. So it's really a matter of preparation and of ensuring the true success.
Can we say beforehand that this product will work on the new market by the right research, or there is always a room for surprise?
Now, of course, we can limit the risk of matching the matching risk. This is what you're talking about, the matching risk between the product and the market by making some market research. This is the goal of market research, and we are performing as well some of them for some of our customers. But this is, even with the best market research, it's clear that it's allowing to narrow the targets and to check exactly what you can do and how you can market your product there to be as efficient as possible. There is still a risk of not explaining it or not putting enough energy to develop and to tailor your product to fit this the requirement of these people. Because whatever we do after market research, we have to put it as well in the real life and to put it into motion. And this is my role also here for the smaller companies. This is part of my job.
And you mentioned developing sales strategies. What did you mean by that? Developing sales in the country. How do you usually do it? What kind of problems you usually see business owners have? And how do you handle that? What do you recommend?
Alors, the first sales approach that we are doing, when I have a customer who has done his product market fit, let's say a French customer, he has done his product market fit in France, he knows what is working, then I tell him, okay, we will try to sell this particular solution or product that you have identified as low-hanging fruit in the German market, because in most of my missions, I have a test period where people are taking me at the beginning and evaluating how good my processes are. And as I am paid on a retainer basis, monthly retainer basis, it is normal that people can judge the value of my services. So first month or the first 2 weeks is understanding what the customer is proposing, checking the low-hanging fruit, and preparing the kickoff, the kickoff that we will have with the customer. Having that, we come to this kickoff with a list of potential customers fitting with a target that that could fit with this product and sales according to this low-hanging fruit strategy. We will do, we call it a target check, a quick target check, which is to briefly analyze if what is working in France will work, for example, in Germany. And given that, we will choose one of the people we know best in this field, and we'll make a test run with this product and solution. And then usually these people are frank with us. So they tell us what is going wrong, what is going well, what we should adapt. And it's very good because they are honest. And then it helps us to make our value proposition stronger. So, and at the end of the first month, usually we are coming with a solid value proposition that we are able, at the beginning of the second month, to push on a wider scale and a wider range of targets. And this makes a big difference, because when we come to a larger scale of customers that are also from our network, the value that we are providing to them is really a strong value, something which has been proven by one of their peers. So this makes all the difference. And usually we said that within 2 weeks, we guarantee that we have either a partner or end customer completely in phase and interested and locked in with the product of my customers. So this is what we give as a giveaway as target.
Wonderful, wonderful. Next question.
Yes, Number one.
Number one. Oh, that's a tricky question. Finally, I was waiting for it. What is the biggest mistake you've ever made in your career?
Biggest mistake. Huh.
And maybe it was a mistake. Maybe at the beginning you thought it's a mistake, but then you realize that it's a journey. And
there is one which is for me still actual, but I try to improve on it. It's always that I'm very impatient, and I am teaching my customer to be patient, but myself I was very impatient in the beginning, trying to do as much as possible all the times, pushing the limits, and with the experience, I'm improving it. I'm improving it to take time for myself, take time to for my own health and equilibrium, to think about before going very far on the process. Just stepping down, stopping, and thinking carefully on how we could do the things better.
So with this approach, it gets much easier to handle things, indeed.
But sometimes I'm still impatient on some other things, and then I have a bell ringing in myself saying, Christian, remember.
But every quality has every quality has something good and bad about it. So this perfectionism helps you to deliver great results, but at the same time it's great to remember that we need to slow down. It's not needed to happen quickly, 1 second. We should wait patience.
Definitely.
Good.
Hey, number two.
Recite a poem or your favorite quote.
The first one was recite a poem. Oh, favorite quote. Carpe diem. Carpe diem is definitely my motto. Always make the best of all opportunities that the day is giving you. And this, I apply it also for business and private life. Really enjoy every moment. There is no real completely bad moments. There is no completely great moments. You have always opportunities to find good and bad in every situation. But I will say that mostly you have to look for the good things, even in the bad situations, because this is a good way to look further and to go positive. I'm very positive in my attitude, and my goal is to work with positive-minded people that I take as customer, and to bring them to positive people I have in my network. This is a kind of sharing positiveness, and with the same willingness to create a win-win value for everyone.
And we could feel this positivity, believe me.
Yeah, it's all about positive energy. Yeah, definitely.
Great. And the next question.
Alors, next question. Let's take number 4.
Number 4. Are you ready for a dare question?
Okay, I can have a joker. How many joker can I have?
Write to your colleague something you always wanted to write.
Okay. But in the terms of
it could be a colleague, it could be a client, it could be anyone from your business.
Say some things that I wanted to say for a long time and that I have not said so far.
I would say yes.
Okay. Yeah, there are there are several colleagues I could talk to today if I would see them, that have helped me to change my life in a positive way. I would say maybe the first one was at Philips, a marketing guy who led me to do a MBA, and I could never thank him enough to have put this what do you say, this idea in myself, because at the beginning I was just an engineer focusing on my products and I was still looking to the external world, to customers, and by doing some quality missions. But really, when I discovered that, I really wanted to go to closer to customers, doing more marketing and why not sales. And this guy told me, wait, before doing that, you should take a toolbox, and the MBA is the best way to get a toolbox to do things right. And so I took 2 years of my life to stop, and I made my MBA at HEC, where he was also one of the alumni, and this really helped me.
And the next question?
15.
15. Call your colleague. It's a dare again. Sorry, you started to pick dares. Call your colleague and talk with him in a German accent. Or if you say you are in the office, can you talk with your colleague in a German accent?
Yeah, I can do that. It's usually I'm talking with my French accent, even if I try to lose it, but it's
French accent is beautiful.
Yeah,
don't try to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's why I always I'm playing also on that with my customers. They like to they like to hear that. It's sometimes good for cold calls, you know.
Can you call now?
Call a colleague?
Yeah, call.
Right now?
Right now, with a German accent.
A German colleague or a colleague?
Just calling a colleague, but you should speak with a German accent, not French, with a German accent. Because your accent is French. It wouldn't be interesting if you just talked in a French accent. That's why it's German.
So talking French with a German accent. I can imitate the German accent with a French. Je peux parler français avec un accent. Je peux parler français avec un accent allemand. Ça se fait beaucoup. Voilà, ça c'est allemand. C'est allemand. Il parle comme ça quand il parle français. Voilà.
Well done. Well done. I'm satisfied.
Ça, je peux faire, mais je sais. Yeah.
Of course,
I could explain that.
I couldn't really judge it because I don't speak French, but I think if we have French subscribers, they would truly appreciate this effort. Good. Okay. Now I see this point when you said, I don't give up. You will just do it.
I want to kick all the questions.
And the next question, I think we've had many of them. I think
16, we have done it. 16.
16. How do you understand that your product is ready to go global?
As soon as the product has been, it can be that from a local market we can go global, but it's very hard. It's very hard to do that. What I usually suggest is that we don't target many countries. After the local test, we do the local product market fit. We do one country, and on this country we will adapt. We will see the effort it is to go from local country to this first country, and then after, when we have waited, don't know, 6 months, 1 year, usually you see a lot of things that you can improve. You see a lot of it also helps to improve your product in your own local market very often, because you see things that you have not seen immediately. So meanwhile, in this time, I think then your product is ready to go really global. It's a prerequisite.
Great. And we don't have many other questions left. I will just say you the numbers which we have.
Yeah, I think I know. So you should have 12.
Yeah, we haven't had this question. It's a truth question, but a tricky one. What is the most difficult culture for you to handle? Maybe I wouldn't consider just the cultures you work with, but overall, when the client comes to you and say,
no. I have a lot of respect for the Japanese culture. I worked a lot with the Japanese people, but even after working many years with them, I still have a lot of challenges that I can still have if I was working with them again today. It's very tough because it's completely other kind of culture, and I can understand that big groups like Renault might have strong challenges working with Nissan. I could understand this perfectly, but it's another way of working, and I should say it was very exciting, but I still find it as a challenge. I've not been through all of it, so that's why for the moment I'm not directly working with a Japanese company because I want to go where it's easier to do business. But of course, if a customer asks me to go there, I have already some very strong experience there.
what were the
I
most
say hello to my Japanese friends who looked there.
what was it?
Olan-san, say hello.
What were the most unusual things for you when you started to work with the culture? When you said, wow, we have a completely different system.
Yeah, first, they say always yes. They never say no. So at the beginning, when you don't know that, but you say, yeah, great, he understood everything, he accepted everything. No. When a Japanese person say yes, it means he understands. He's listening he's hearing what you're saying. So at the end of a meeting, that's not because people say yes all the time that that he agrees with all what you said. And so after you go and you report to your boss that the problem is solved, that they understood, and then the next day you see an email restating always all the point that was the same problem. So it's it could be very troubling. But when you know that, you have to clarify point, and you have to be much more cautious when you do business with them. You have to be cautious that everyone is still keeping. They do not have to lose face. So if there is any mistake that was done, you have to find always the positiveness of every act and try to find best way to improve things without you don't shout to someone, you don't say someone you cannot be so factual as you are in UK, or when you say it's good or it's wrong. No, you cannot say that in Japan. You have to find ways to say things. So it takes time, takes effort, it takes voilà. That's just one example, but there are plenty of others like that.
I've never heard of it. That's a great example. I've never heard of it.
Just make a search on internet, you will check. You will see that.
At least I will bear your advice in mind, and I will not repeat the mistake.
Yeah, one of the worst things for Japanese is to lose respect and to lose credibility. That's it should never happen.
Because it's not forgiven.
Yeah, but you see sometimes you see CEOs of companies, Japanese that are apologizing and presenting their excuses to people. It costs them a lot to do that. It's not something at all that we would see as painful as it is in Japan to do that. Yeah.
Great answers. So many things I've learned from you.
We have not done 10, have we?
We haven't done. Absolutely correct.
I think this is the last one.
I think yes.
Okay, let's go for the last one.
What is the biggest misconception about you?
The biggest misconception. That means something that people think about or thought about me, but it's not true. This is the point. Many people are playing a role. I'm not. I'm very transparent, both in my personal and private life, personal and professional life. I'm very transparent. I say what I want to say, and when I feel things, I say that. When I don't feel things, I say that as well. So I'm very transparent. So it's very hard for me to talk about misconception that would mean I would not have told the truth
That's a great answer. Thank you very much for your transparency. Thank you for telling the truth for every truth of the questions. And we were
Yeah, I
really
was not used with this game.
But you did wonderfully well. Thank you very much, Christian. We're very happy to have the interview with you. Thank you for your answers.
It was a pleasure to have this play with you and to present part of my life to you and my business expertise and the way we are working at ABD.
In our next episode, Andy will explain how to measure sales performance. Don't miss an opportunity to subscribe.